Previously, on the Hoard of the Dragon Queen. The north of Faerun finds itself embroiled in chaos, as the long benign cult of the dragon has recently made a resurgence, and is actively pillaging nearby lands at the behest of 7 Sajarin, who is attempting to gather 5 dragon masks to release Tiamat from her prison in the 9 Hells. Meanwhile, 4 novice adventurers journey to the town of Greenest as caravan guards for the belligerent Nub McGrub. During said journey, they came to know Nub's bodyguard, Sebastian Crenshaw, and the reserved Marlowe Duskwood, who did their best to make the group feel welcome, despite Nub's foul temperament and overt self-interest. When the party reached their destination, they were greeted by the sight of a blue dragon that circled ominously over the town. Sensing the plight below, the party ventured further in, and soon arrived at Greenest Keep, where they became acquainted with Governor Naito and Castilian. From here, the party proceeded to work through the night, and saved many townspeople, whilst also driving back the nefarious raiders, which eventually culminated in a stand at the keep, and an ultimatum posed by the battle-hungry Legdros Cyanrath. Zark answered the Draconid's challenge for single combat, and fought a pitched battle, with the former eventually prevailing, thanks to the awakening of a mysterious new power. The raiders retreated after the battle, and the party were rewarded for their efforts. The day after, our heroes spent some time around town, and took on a job from a blimmering blacksmith regarding some stolen materials. After finding no evidence at the local mine, the party tracked and captured a thief, who led them to a mill. As he ventured inside, they found a new ally in Blaine Skybreaker and his wolf companion Max. The team went upstairs and dealt with several dragon cultists, and found the blacksmith there also, using a device to mass-produce notes for the Cult of the Dragon. Upon closer inspection, the notes included directions to the cultist camp, giving the party the means to track the raiders in the near future. And now we return as the Tyranny of Dragons continues.
That's why I didn't actually hear the quote.
It's because
I couldn't hear anything.
it's because it's muted. I mute my desktop audio. You can't. None of those annoying commands can interrupt my intro. I mute my desktop audio for a reason, partially so we're not chattering in the background, and also so you can't just spam my.
Rated PG-13.
Shut up, Zach. Yeah, that's on cooldown. Doom. Right now. I had to put a cooldown on these because you just keep spamming them, and now my chat is just full of things I've said. Anyway, we're back with Hoard of the Dragon Queen.
Hey.
So, yeah, you've heard the intro. You know, why I still called Sky? Oh, right, you shouldn't be called Sky. Whoops, I did forget to do that. Sorry.
No, it's not.
That is literally the one thing that I forgot to do.
You had one job bug.
I had several, actually.
Yeah, 20 jobs bug.
Okay, there we go. Done it. Fixing it, Sky.
Plain Sky.
No, it's off center.
Da-da.
Really off center.
Okay. There we go. It's making its way back there. Oh, it's off center. Ah, aha! Oh, wait, no, that's still off center. Aha! There we go. I got it. Are you happy
Okay.
now?
How cool! How cool we all have full HP.
Actually, oh yeah. I'm guessing it must have accident. Oh, it's because I reset the tool, isn't it? Yeah, because I needed to put your new HP in. Okay. I mean, to be fair, you're probably going to have a long rest anyway, so I suppose it's not really of any consequence. Anyway, so you guys went through the mill last time, and you acquired a new ally. In addition, you've also discovered that Brendan was a dirty, dirty liar, and led you on a wild goose chase to investigate a crime that didn't exist. So you have him in tow. I believe that you were taking a couple of other guys, a thief and one of the folks, back into town. So I think that's where we left off last time. So
It was
The
Joe
folks.
from the mines and one of the hired
yes,
thugs.
yeah. So it was just.
Or
we got
self
swept
sword or
outside it
whatever
as well.
you want to call it.
What was that? Sorry.
We had the one that led us here, and then the one that we slept and restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Salsford.
We've got 4 prisoners.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you guys do? You're just outside the mill at the moment. Just for reference.
Despite being curious by the birds, I'll speak to the others. We should probably head off, make our way back.
Get these guys to town.
Everyone seems to be
Alright.
in agreement.
Sure, we
Yes.
can split up on the horses. There
And
were
just
some
like-
horses here. The horses that took us here, and then
It's
there are some horses
Yeah.
tied up here. We can take those as well.
You have a couple of extra horses here.
Well, Zog, try something. Like, strain my face like I'm trying to teleport again. Zog, no, Zog, do it earlier.
You
You
know,
need to go to the bathroom. Now's not the time.
you know what, Zach? Roll a con save as he's training to do that.
Yep. I pressed the wrong button.
Okay, so Zach,
Yeah, that was the wrong one.
con
save.
save, not a con roll.
Yeah.
You keep doing that.
Yeah, I do. You can just add another +2 to that if you want,
Yeah, fine, okay. So
just for shenanigans.
yeah, so you kind of strain and you just let up a massive burp.
What? Oh.
Need to get you on a better diet.
You just say some
Because
chattering.
I'm meat.
You just say some chattering from over here, and just goes, "Okay, which one of you did that? I know you. I know it was one of you." Bad people. Ah!
Time to get going. Quick.
Yep. With that, we're away. Lights everyone up and we run. Ride. We're taking the extra horse.
Yeah, fair enough. These guys don't care. They're consumed with their own shenanigans. Fortunately for you.
Okay.
And also, Zach,
So-
you now have a tummy ache. Congratulations.
Yay. it's fine.
As soon as we get to a safe distance away, I'd like to address the group. While these outfits might help us with where we just were, I don't think it's smart to ride into town like this.
Yeah, fair point. Whilst I'm riding, I'll then shrug off my outfit and put it in my rucksack.
I do the same.
Okay. So you all are switching to your regular clothes now.
Mm.
Okay.
Yes, and the two of them are keeping their
Mhm.
outfits, the ones
I was already in my regular clothes.
Okay. Right. So you guys say that you're riding back to town.
Mm.
Okay. Where in town are you going? Are you going to Greeness Keep, or are you going just like into like the entrance of Greeness, just for reference?
I'd probably say the keep, given we're taking these guys back to Castilian.
Okay.
directly to the keep, or as directly to the keep as we can, without making a huge turn around town.
Right. Okay. So I'll just switch this over to keep map. Okay. I won't put the tokens, and I'll just leave it as it is. Okay. So you guys get back to the keep. Your prisoners in tow on the horses behind you. I'll say that just for the sake of convenience, that the horses are just kind of like stood around the center of the keep. So yeah, it's a little bit of a spectacle as you come back in. A couple of the guards just approach you and just go, "Ah, good day. Who are these people? Stragglers from the attack?"
Something like that. I believe the custodian might want to talk to them.
Ah, yes, he had fun with the last two, probably a bit. Anyway, I probably shouldn't say anymore and just go and get him for you. With that, the guard,
That would be nice of you.
the guard just doesn't really listen to any further comments, and he walks into here, and then a few moments, the Castilian, he's now here, and he just goes, "Ah, good to see you again, lads and lass. Ah, what can I do for you?"
We brought some more friends for you.
Oh,
Or
ah,
rather, some friends of people you met last time. One of these, I believe you might know. Or
Cast-
two of these, I believe you might know.
Castilian looks the guys up and down. As he gets to Brendan, there is a glint of recognition in his eye, and he just belly laughs, goes, "Oh, oh really? This guy? This guy's been involved with the cult? Oh, my day just gets better and better. Oh, I always wanted to pull the fingernails off this little one." Brendan,
Glad you're having such a fun day.
What? Excuse me.
Brendan, who is conscious at this point, I should, but just looks absolutely terrified of Castilian, and he just goes, "Wait, wait, I know who you are. You used to. Oh gods, please don't leave me alone with him."
Just so you know, he's responsible for his mentor's death. It's how he got the smithy. Have fun.
Aye.
And he did give us in writing some pieces. He is transferring everything to his former co-student, who is now in charge of the mines. I believe
Aye.
you might want to call him in as well.
Aye,
He
Marcus.
might want to have a word.
Yes. I'll call Marcus up. Aye. You'll definitely want to. You'll definitely want to be privy to this.
Sorry to spoil your fun a little bit, but maybe it's just a delay. And I think Marcus might want to be in this.
Okay.
Maybe.
Castilian just motions a couple of the guards to come over, and they escort Brendan and the other prisoners away. Brendan is whimpering. You don't really know why he reacted that way to seeing Castilian in particular, but it seems that he's more afraid of him than he was afraid of you guys when you had him at, like, knife point or whatever you did. So, just something to consider there. Anyway, they're led away, and Castilian just goes, "Aye, you might want to wait here for a bit. I'll have to... I'll go and get the governor to keep those guys...
You need your time. We understand.
Maybe we should go about town for a bit. See if there's anything that interests you."
One thing, do you have any rope? I used all mine up restraining them. That I could take.
Yes, of course.
So
Just...
I want magic rope back. I say, pointing at the guy that's bound up with it.
Castilian just shouts over to the guard and just asks him to, like, change the rope, and a few minutes later, your magic's rope is returned to you, Zach, and also, considering you were asking Arthur, 50 feet of rope is provided to you too.
Thank you. How late in the day is it, by the way?
Actually, at this time it is, you were there at about 10 o'clock, so it is actually quite late at the moment. That's kind of why it caused a little bit of a ruckus, because you are approaching the keep quite late. Fortunately, given the dragon attack, everyone's still on high alert, so that's why there was a few forces to greet you, but it is quite late on, so you might want to go and get some rest in the near future.
Is there a place we can keep this horse safe? I consider them a little gift from those friends.
Okay, if you're still talking to Castilian, just goes, yes! They look like a fine breed indeed, but... I'll say if the Jamesons can keep in the morning, we still needed to replace their horses. Couple of lads in the town guard might want some too.
Fair enough. Do you have a place here where we can stable them for the night?
Castilian just motions over here. It'll be a little bit cramped, but the other horses will just about fit into there. But obviously...
I'll look at moving the horses over there, talking to them, and making sure they're fed.
Okay. At this point, I'd say that Castilian's belly laughter has woken Governor Nighthill up, and he comes out to the house, and he just comes over to you guys and just goes, Castilian, I really, really wish you wouldn't laugh like that. It's 11 o'clock. What's going on out here anyway?
We just found some more cult dragon peoples. We
Ah,
brought them back. We have Brendan. He's a lying little sack of shit. He's giving up all his stuff to the foreman.
I mean, I'm aware of that fact, but why is he giving his stuff up to the foreman? He
He killed his previous Brenzer. We found out.
What?
Yep. We got it in writing, just right here, as well as a deed to write over ownership of everything. It was not made under duress.
His former mentor, Mr. Raymer, was very well respected in this town. I'll be having some words with Brendan, and obviously Castilian may want to say a few things too. He has a history with that family, shall we say? Anyway,
Well,
is there anything
we might
else?
be able to bed down for the night.
I mean, there's an open invitation to stay in my house as you did last night, and all you need.
We have someone else with us you have not met yet. Blaine?
Oh. Yes, I was actually just waiting for the right moment to ask. Who is this one?
I'm Blaine. Nice to meet
We-
you.
We found him locked up by the cultist. And since he is clearly not on their side,
I'm really not. No.
he offered to help and was very helpful to us
Okay.
in this last stint. It would be nice if he could stay with us too.
Hearing that, Governor Nighthill extends his hand out to Blaine to shake it, and then clasps his other hand on his arm and says, "Well, if these heroes vouch for you, then my offer extends to you too, friend."
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm looking down at a book I'm writing, and I just say without looking up, "Yes, he's a real stand-up fellow."
I hope you don't bring too many more guests. Even my house can't house the entire town.
Yeah.
But I would say that it probably won't be as comfortable as it's been, but there should still be enough beds for you. It might just be a bit cramped.
Thank you for your generosity.
Nothing I'm not used to.
Now, if you don't mind, Castilian, I am going back to bed. Okay, right you are, Bernard. Castilian, never mind. And with that, Governor Nighthill walks off.
I believe getting some rest might do us all good. We can
Agreed.
talk more in the morning.
Yes.
So I'm going to find a nice place. I'm just going to lie down and be out. Oop.
Okay, so you guys bed down for the night. So obviously you're going to get a long rest. So I think obviously from last time you leveled up, so you now get the full benefits of your level up. Not really sure if it's going to be used much tonight, but just to make you aware of that. Okay, so the night passes uneventfully and morning comes. So what do you guys do?
Getting annoyed at D&D
Hmm.
Beyond.
Oh, why? What's that?
After,
It's not resetting my spell slots. It should be, right?
Yeah, it
Just
should be.
unclick the individual spell slots. So I tend to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm doing that now.
Shouldn't have to do
I'm
that.
wondering.
Shrug.
But you do have your spell slots.
Should we go and see the foreman, hand over all this writing?
sort of want to see medicine lady, say, pointing at the house where she usually is.
I would like to take some time to meditate, but I'll go with Sark.
Right, okay. So what is everyone else doing, just so now?
I'm staying at the breakfast table for now. I'm continuing to write in my new book.
Okay. And how about you, Arthur?
I'm going to be probably making my way to the foreman to hand over the deeds.
Okay, and Blaine?
Do you need any help with that, Arthur?
No, I'd appreciate the company.
Right.
Okay. So we'll cut over to Gwen and Zark first. So you two approach Sasha's hut, and do you knock before you enter?
Yes.
Okay, so you knock on her door. You hear a little bit of clattering on the other side of the door, and you hear Sasha just say something. You assume it might be a curse under her breath, and eventually she opens the door. Her looks a little bit frazzled, kind of like the last time you saw her, and she goes, "Ah, Gwen, Zark, please come in. Sorry about the mess. It's been a rough few days. I just finished seeing the last of my patients. How can I help you?"
No worries. Zark wanted to see you this morning, and I think we still haven't had a chance to talk about what happened to him the other night.
No,
He wanted to take some notes.
I was actually going to ask. That seemed absolutely fascinating. What happened with my potion? I realized it was potent, but I never thought that anything like that could possibly occur. I mean, it's like she rushes over to Zark as she's kind of in mid-flow, and she just goes, "Tell me, what's your diets like? Sort of." I see. How about vegetables? How about a daily routine? Did anything unusual happen recently? Did you any exposure to fey magic? Please, any information at all is useful.
Zark, move far. Like-
You move far.
I'm just like scratching my head trying to think of the word.
Wait. What do you mean
First-
moved far? I saw flowers sprouting around your feet. Gwen, did this happen recently?
This happened last night.
Really? Well, okay. What did it feel like?
Strange.
Okay, Gwen, maybe you could help me elaborate it. Did you see this happen yourself?
I saw it somewhat. More like off the corner of my eye. It looked like a wizard using his misty step? Something like that.
Zark got mad.
He moved without moving. His position moved, but he was still. It's like a teleportation?
I
Like
see.
misty steps? Something like that. It was really uncanny. I'm not sure if he controlled it though. Or if it just happened. But he moved to opportune places.
And Zark mad. Zark do that.
Wait, hang on a minute. What were you feeling like the last time this happened?
Mad again.
Have you had this experience when you've not been mad?
I'm like scratching my head trying to think something. No.
Fascinating.
Only happened when Zark mad.
It seems that his rage perhaps triggers these strange abilities. Maybe, if you get a chance, Gwen, maybe document a few more of these instances, see if that theory is correct.
I will try, and I will try to send you a word.
I mean, would you mind awfully if I take a couple of blood samples from you?
How?
I promise it won't hurt. I have a few herbs that could help numb the pain. It would only take a few moments, if you wouldn't mind.
No
Zaki
herbs.
will be fine.
No
He will
herbs.
be fine.
Okay. So, a little bit of time passes. Sasha manages to draw some blood from Zark and puts it into a couple of vials. she just kind of like sets them to one side and just says, "I'll probably get around to studying these later, but in the meantime, Gwen, is there anything else?"
I wanted to see if there's anything I can help you with today. I don't believe we are heading out.
No, as a matter of fact, as I said when you entered, I just finished seeing the last of my patients. As you can see, I haven't even had time to unpack my things, just using whatever was necessary from the very tops. Perhaps you could help me unpack, or unless there's anything else you'd like to discuss.
I'll be glad to help you with that.
Okay, no. So
Out of character, I don't want to take up more time.
No,
I'm just assuming the two are chatting, just general chit chat.
yeah. So I'll say at this point we're going to switch over to the other perspective with Blaine and Arthur. Okay, so you guys probably. So I'm guessing you've gone to the mine to speak with Marcus. Okay, you actually Marcus didn't tell you his name. You learned that from Brandon, just so you remember. So yeah, you approach the mine once again. Not really much sound coming from outside, but as you go down the ramp into like the entryway of the mine, Marcus is stood at his desk. Doesn't really seem to notice you at first. He just kind of seems to be hunched over, scrolling some paperwork.
Okay, I'd like to approach him and stand in front of the desk facing him.
Okay, so as you get into his personal space, Marcus raises his head from his paperwork and goes, "Ah, you again. Did you not have everything you need yesterday? I told you there's nothing here out of the ordinary."
No, we managed to solve the little issue.
Oh.
I rummaged around in my pack and then produced the papers and placed them in front of him.
Okay, at first he doesn't really seem that interested in what you've got to say, and he kind of shakes his head, maybe a little bit dismissively as you produce the papers. But after a few moments, you see his body language relax quite a lot, and his eyes appear to widen. And he just goes, I don't understand. Why is Brendan signing over the shop to me? It was his by rights when Mr. Raymer died.
We found out that he had a hand in that.
What do you mean, a hand in that? It was an accident. He was crushed under. God, I can't. I just don't really want to think about it. You're saying
So the dragon made a deal with him, and that deal resulted in him dying and Brendan being given, well, the shop.
There's a pause for a few moments. You can see that although he's not saying anything, his face has gone quite red and he's clenching his fists very tightly. But he's obviously not wanting to really release his emotion, and he just says, "I see."
Stillian has him now.
Oh, Brendan is not going to like that. Castilian was a good friend of Mr. Raymer. They were all drinking buddies. He was particularly torn up when he died. I was going to get the shop just before Brendan was actually going to be going tiling. His workmanship was poor, and well, I don't think I have to tell you about his other negative traits.
Well, at the very least, it's yours now.
Okay. With that, Marcus is going to just neatly roll the papers up, and he's going to go into a back office and just leave them there, presumably. He comes out a couple of minutes later, and his body language a lot more relaxed. It looks like he took a couple of minutes to calm down, and he comes out and says to you, "I apologize for my demeanor. Times have been tough here, and well, hearing what Brendan did not only to my business, but to our mentor. It brought back some unpleasant memories.
I can imagine.
What did he offer you, by the way, for doing this?
Use of this forge and a decrease in price for materials I'd need.
Let's see. Well, more than likely I'll be taking. Well, you signed the bloody shop over to me, so I will be taking it. Fortunately, I happen to have a key to the shop just in case Brendan ever lost his. He did that quite often, more than you would think, actually. With that, he pulls a key out of the office and slides it across the table to you, Arthur. And he says, feel free to go and use the forge. It's going to take me a few days to move everything over there, and, well, you have the look of a man who I can trust. It looks like you've seen your fair share of conflict and trouble, so I know you're not the sort to go back on your word and betray.
I'll smile, kind of looking down, keep quite a long time, then I'll pick it up. Thank you. I appreciate this.
Give me a few days with everything else. I will give you all a further reward, but this is quite a lot to take in. I probably just need a bit of time.
How did you... Oh, do you know how Brendan came into owning a printing press machine?
It wasn't his. It was Mr. Raymer's printing press machine. He purchased it from... I'm not exactly sure where. He never really talked about how he acquired it. It was just something he always had. Maybe he got about 5 years back. It was around the time myself and Brendan joined the business. It was never really used for very much. I wasn't actually sure why he needed such a device, but... Well, why do you mention the press, by the way? How do you actually even know about it?
Used. It has been kept in a lumber mill out of town, where some of the cultists were.
Yeah.
We're using it to reprint various bits of, well, orders, basically.
I see. I
I took
recall
a few key components out of it, so it shouldn't be used again.
probably for the best. I would have no use for such a thing, and, well, it was foolish for that to be left alone. Now, to be honest with you, that mill actually did belong to Mr. Raymer as well. But Brendan... Wait a minute. He actually goes to the back office once again upon realizing that, and he brings back some documentation which shows that apparently Brendan sold the lumber mill just after Mr. Raymer died, about I think it was probably about a year ago, this arrangement. So yeah, he looks down at it and he just hands it over to you. Do you think that this was forged too?
It could have been.
I'd say roll an
I'd be
intelligence
honest,
check to see whether it looks like it was made on the printing press, Arthur.
Fuck.
It's a nice
Oh.
piece of paper with fancy words. But yeah,
Nothing.
beyond that, you don't know anything else.
I'll just nod knowingly.
Yeah, kind of seeing that you're not adding anything to the conversation, he'll just pull the paper back and just goes, I would probably guess that this was forged. I'll probably hand this over to Castilian and Naito. You said that they were... that's where it was being kept, right?
Yes.
Well, anything to nail that bastard to the wall. You've brought a lot of joy and a lot of sadness to my day. I'm not even sure how you managed that. But anyway, I have a mine to run and, well, apparently soon a shop. If you don't mind, I'll get back to my business now. There's a lot of arrangements that need to be taken care of.
You may have a little bit more work as well. Joe was the thief stealing from you.
Joel.
Joe.
Joel. What?
He's also been handed over with the rest.
That's actually quite unfortunate. He was a good boy, Joel, but he was having money issues. His daughter was going through some particularly hard times. I couldn't give him any more money. Guessing that's why he got mixed up with Brandon. Bastard's probably... Bastard's the reason that we didn't have the money to pay him in the first place, ironically enough. I won't be able to keep him on after this, but he isn't a bad kid.
It just seemed as though he got stuck in a bad situation.
You'll need to be punished, but I'll have a toy of Castilian. I don't want him lumped in with that slime. He deserves at least a bit better than that.
Agreed. If you don't mind, I do have a few things I need to take care of.
Yep. Marcus will nod at this, and then we'll just put his head back down.
Okay. With that, I would like to turn, and I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes, but just say that I make my way to the Forge Hut, and I'm going to go and start working away whilst I'm actually away.
Okay, so is that where you're going to spend the rest of the day, Arthur?
Yes.
Okay, I'll describe that in a few more minutes. By the way, Sky, I think, just crashed, which I believe is the reason he wasn't really saying much during that scene, so hopefully he'll be back in a couple of minutes.
So I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, cool. So before we switch back to Gwen and Zark, Dellerman, are you doing anything?
I'll have finished writing in my book, and I want to test it out, so I'm going to go ahead and find Zark.
Okay, so
I'll wander over there.
I would say
into the
that
tent, whatever.
I would say that you heard Gwen and Zark discuss their plans to go and see Sasha. So you can see that Sasha's door is slightly ajar, and you can see the opposite side.
I'll wander in.
Okay. So do you say anything?
Perfect. I have an experiment I want to run with the big one.
I'm sorry. Who are you again?
Dellerman.
Yes, Dellerman. Sorry, my brain's a bit frazzled. I hadn't talked to you, but what's this about an experiment?
I've seen the power he's been exuding, and it intrigues me.
Yes.
I wish to know more.
Yes, we were just talking about that. Do you have any notes? Zark is he's trying his best, but unfortunately, I've not learned very much. I actually took some blood samples, motioning over to the 2 vials of blood on her desk.
So, no, speak good words.
There'll be no need for
You're
speaking.
doing
I
the
just need
best
you
you
to
can, Zark. You're fine. Thank you for
Just
trying to help.
stay around. Stay around for a few moments. And I want to cast Detect Magic as a ritual.
Okay, so that will take you 10 minutes, bear in mind, because it's a ritual cast. Okay, so...
While he's doing that, could I use my, what's it called? Magic Awareness?
Just remind me what that does exactly. Magical Awareness, I think it's just kind of like Detect Magic, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so I would say that, Dellerman, you explain what you're doing to Sasha. She just kind of stands out of the way, and you ritual cast Detect Magic, and yeah, it would seem that it's very faint traces of some sort of magic inside of the blood, but it's very unstable and sporadic. It seems like at one moment it's very potent, and then at the other moment it just fades. Zark, I would say that with your magical awareness, you have a similar experience.
What that?
So, what do you say in response to learning this, Delman and Zark?
I can, when I cast Detect Magic, I can see the magic, I guess, inside the blood and inside Zark. But I don't just feel it. Can I like actually see it moving and writhing and whatnot?
Okay, so I would say that it's very much the same thing. That as you inspect the blood and you kind of see this instability, and then you look up at Zark, and you kind of see this, like this really raw magic potential. It kind of reminds you of you, in a way, but it's not quite the same type of magic. It's less refined, less controlled. There's no real focus for it. It would appear that this is a creature who has no natural affinity for magic, but yet has the potential to cast it. It's really strange.
This is fascinating. I think. Hold on. I'll pull out an old notebook and start rifling through. Yes, it's similar.
Anything you want to share?
Have any of you heard of wild magic?
Actually, yes, I have. Only quite briefly. I haven't spent much time with sorcerers, but I believe it's kind of like a magic user, but when you go to cast a spell, sometimes it has rather peculiar side effects along those lines. Yes.
Exactly. They have the ability to use the magic, but they do not exude control over it in the same way that someone like me or the Flower Girl. It is bizarre how he came across such magics. I did not sense this before.
Eyebrows raised at Dolman.
Yeah, sort of Sasha narrows her eyes at the mention of Flower Girl. Just looking over to Gwen and just rolling her eyes.
It's fine, lady, not Flower Girl.
Fine.
Smiling at Zark
I'll
for that.
cross out. I'll cross out a note of Flower Girl and put Vine later.
So at this moment, Sasha kind of just starts up and just says, "Wait, actually, there may be a way for us to do a better test, but maybe we shouldn't do it in here." Sasha just kind of like shoos everyone outside back into the keep proper, and she just said, "I understand that you're sort of, given your combat style, Zark, you're able to draw upon your emotions quite readily, yes?"
And Zark get mad.
Could you try that now? Sasha looks at you expectantly.
It's like, are we outside now?
Yeah, so we're kind of like stood in the middle of the keep, but Sasha then thinks, maybe we should actually go out the gates. We don't really know what may happen.
Zark training
Maybe.
thing still there?
Maybe we can take one of the dummies. I believe the soldiers had some training dummies. I'm sure we
They
can
did,
take one
yeah.
of them.
We
So-
already got dummy, I say, pointing to Delman.
Let's use something more
I
your
like to know that.
size.
So I'd say that you guys are over here at the moment. So with Sasha walking out, she just shouts to a couple of the guys, "Sorry, excuse me. Do you happen to have any training dummies? I noticed that Zark was training with them the other day when he was making an awful racket outside my hut. Could you please bring a couple out here?" The guards nod, and a few minutes later they set up 3 training dummies just out where you guys are stood here. So, with that, Sasha clasps her hands together and just goes, "Right, Zark, try channeling your emotions and hit the training dummies, and I'll make some notes and see what happens."
I'll just like stand back, take a deep breath, run towards the dummies, and then range.
Okay, so roll your d8 then.
Five.
Okay. And what is it?
Yeah, whenever a creature hits you with an attack before your rage ends, they take 1d6 force damage.
So that won't actually do anything then because they can't hit you back.
No.
Okay, so you go over to the training dummies as you rage, you hit them, and nothing unusual appears to happen. So Sasha will walk up to Zark and just say, I was sure that was the catalyst for it. And like,
Oh,
So-
why no work? I'll rage again.
okay, so roll your d8 again.
6. I am surrounded by multicolored protective lights. I gain +1 to AC. Well, stuff within 10 feet of me gains the same bonus.
Okay, so as Sasha starts to feel a little bit deflated from a apparent failed experiment, your emotions well up once again, and a few moments later, multicolored lights appear around you, and she goes, "This is fascinating! Absolutely brilliant! Gwen, have you ever seen such a thing?"
Pretty lights.
Never quite
try
like
and-
this, I have to say.
Sasha just
Let's try something else.
just
and
starts fervently
I'm going to get
like-
out my staff and say, Zark?
Hmm?
I don't mean this in a bad way. We'll be friends again after, alright?
Okay.
And I will cast Shillelagh and attack.
Okay, so when Kashella and swings in, I suppose, yeah, I mean, I think Zark's gonna let you hit her. Okay, so as you make contact with Zark, what did you say the first thing was?
What would it still
Only
apply?
one effect at once.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, because you can only, yeah. So basically, it doesn't actually work because he did a re-rage. So like, you just hit Zark in the leg.
No, I still want to see what happens. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm experimenting. I don't care about what happened. Would have happened the other time. I want
I
to see
see.
what happens now.
I see. You don't care what
colored
happens.
lights.
So it just gives you +1 to AC.
Zark, you know how little this is gonna do to you.
So
Roll your damage then. Sorry.
Yeah. Roll your damage, Gwen. Okay, so Gwen, as you swing in, you notice that it's a little bit more difficult to hit Zark. As you kind of bring the staff, you feel that even though you should be making contact a lot easier, you have to slightly readjust the trajectory of your staff to hit him. But you connect on his shin, and he takes 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Shillelagh's magic damage, right?
He just says bludgeoning.
No resisting him.
Yeah, no resisting it.
So yeah, just 4 flat damage.
Oh, that tickles Ark.
Does it? I mean, it rolls and shows as bludgeoning damage, but it's a magic weapon.
Still tickle.
So with that, Sasha is just she hasn't really paid attention to the fact that you just assaulted Zark for scientific purposes. She's just still fervently scratching down notes about the lights, and then she looks up and just says to Gwen, Gwen, I see that you've tried another experiment. Did anything unusual happen?
It felt a bit off. Either I need to practice my swing more. Maybe I should use these dummies a little. But
Try hitting the dummies.
it felt like it might not be as easy to hit him as usual.
Yes, I could
Maybe
imagine.
the light is a distraction. I'm not
You
sure.
try hit Zark
Maybe there's
before? I say, scratching my hand.
I did not try to hit you before, Zark. All is good.
So that Sasha will say, well, it would seem that he's like a sorcerer, but not has he shown any magic potential at all before the other day?
I have to admit, I have not known him very long. He did not show any before before that night, before the potion.
I suppose it must have
Maybe
been the
this
potion.
triggered something.
Possibly. I'll...
I mean, we know there's potential in some. We know there's people that have the potential, but they never unlock it. It never comes out. Maybe a potion was just like pulling the cork.
Yes, quite possibly.
Yeah, the magic in it freed his magic.
If you give me a couple of days, I'll go back through the notes of my potion and see if there's anything consistent in Zark's blood samples. I'm sure that there has to be a correlation somewhere, but without more research, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly. But this is helpful. We know that the catalyst for his magic is based on his emotions. Maybe one of the herbs I used might... Yes, a lot to think about.
But his emotions are also what guide him in fights.
I suppose it's
It
different
might
for
be
everyone.
something with that. It might be different for someone else.
Yes, I suppose without more research, it's difficult to tell. With that, Sasha is just still writing and walking, and she goes back towards her hut and just says to you three guys, do let me know if anything else unusual happens. I've got to research this. This is fascinating. I don't mean to be rude, but I'd like to be alone for a little while just to get a better handle on what I've seen.
We'll talk later.
Okay, and with that, Sasha walks away and goes inside her hut. Okay.
See,
I'll just shrug and start practicing against these dummies while they're out here. Wow.
seeing
turn
as we're
to-
out.
I'll turn to Gwen and like, he certainly is a lot more interesting, isn't he? He was quite mundane
Yes.
before. I'll have to keep an eye on this.
Maybe we didn't look enough.
Stupid lizard, I say, hitting the thing.
With that, I'll walk over to the tree and say, I would also like to spend some time with my swords. Sit under the tree and meditate.
Okay. So Zach is going to hit some dummies. Gwen is meditating. So, what did you say you were doing? Sorry, Darwin.
I'm gonna sit in a tree and watch. I'll sit in the tree that Gwen sat under and just watch that.
Okay. In that case, we'll cut back to Arthur and Blaine. So, Blaine, I assume that you followed Arthur to the blacksmith shop, or have you gone off to do your own thing?
Yeah, I follow him.
Okay, so I'd probably say that it's going to take you a little bit of time to get back to Greenest proper, and a short while later, Blaine and Arthur come upon the blacksmith shop, and the door is currently locked, as you would expect it to be.
In that case, I would quickly just check the floor to see if there's a spur key that has been dropped immediately onto the floor.
Actually, I'd probably say just roll investigation to see whether you see anything. Okay, on a 16, you look around for a bit. Curiously, you see a rock that's big enough to put a hole through the window, but no key.
Okay, now I'll shrug, and then I'll use the key to enter. Worth a try. The video message just dropped it.
So you unlock the shop, and it seems as it was the other day. It actually, upon further inspection of the desks, you can see that yeah, it's quite messy back here. Brendan didn't really clean up after himself when he was working, so it's a little bit unkempt. But otherwise, you have everything here to treat the materials. Your materials are still being kept at the back of the shop, as Brendan promised. Kind of just, they were kind of like left in a stack with a note on them to hand over to you when he next saw you. And but yeah, the forge seems operational, and you should have everything you need here to work.
I'd like to look at Blaine. I'm going to be busy for quite some time. If you want to go back and meet up with the others, go ahead.
Yeah, I can walk back.
Like, if you want to stay and help, I can teach you a thing or two.
Yeah, why not? You learn every day.
And with that, I want to get to work on my Steel Defender.
Okay, very good. So I would say that at this point it's probably about 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd say that you got up at about 7, so kind of a couple of hours to make a job over there. So I assume that you're going to just work on that continuously for the next 8 hours, Arthur?
Yes. And during which I'm also going to be showing Blaine some basic techniques on foraging.
Okay. While you're doing this, Max is just kind of like stretches out and is like sleeping on the floor. He isn't particularly interested in blacksmithing techniques, but he's happy for the company. Okay, so we cut back to Gwen, Dellerman, and Zach. So for you, it's only been a couple of minutes. How long do you sort of like hit dummies and watch each other for? I know you
I'll
were
hit the
meditating.
dummies until someone tells me to do something else.
I'd like to meditate for 15 to 20 minutes.
Do it for 20 minutes.
Fine.
Okay. So I would probably say that if there's no interruptions, you guys kind of do this for a couple of hours, and eventually, oh, sorry, go on.
After meditating, I'd like to take out my notes and write at my notebook.
Okay.
Take some notes myself.
Okay. Do you guys say anything to each other during this time, or do you just write for a little bit, Gwen?
I would react if someone talks to me, but not really.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm not
engaged.
initiating. Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
looking up, watching Zark a bit, writing in between. So this and that.
I'll grow bored of watching Zark. There's no magical energy sprouting, so it's not interesting me anymore. I'll get down from the tree and stand next to Gwen. I've been meaning to ask you something.
Yes?
You only did it once, but you speak the tongue of the gnomes.
Oh, yes.
I was curious. Where did you learn? Where did you learn this? It's
I
not
learned
common
here
for
home.
humans. Where is your
Sure.
home?
True, my home is in the far north. Well, as many druids, I grew up partly in the woods.
Ah, you are one of the druidic folk. I assumed so much. Your magic is similar. Very
I am a
interesting.
druid indeed. And in my training, I
have to-
spent much time in the woods. At one point, I helped someone of your kin. And brought him back to his family. And, well, we became friends. So since then, I was allowed to visit his family a few times.
No lizard bites Zark. Boom. They will probably hear as I'm attacking this dummy while they're talking.
He has potential, but he almost rejects it.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Maybe he unlocks the key. Maybe not.
I'd certainly
He's
be
still a
interested
young
to
one.
see. Yes. I'll pick at one of the white scales on my arm and just I'll just nod and get back up in the tree.
Noticing him doing that, you might want to not show these much. Not with what's going on. Better for people not to notice there's anything with you.
Oh yes, and yes, you're right. I've learned not to show this nature. I'll pull my sleeve down a little so it's covering it, and then I'll wander off.
Okay. Where do you go, Delman?
I'll go back up in the tree.
Okay, so you're back in the tree. I'm guessing you just keep writing your notes, Gwen?
Well, yes, as long as I need to catch up on those.
Fair enough.
And then just, sitting around, looking around, taking in what's there in terms of plants, paying attention if there's any birds, what type of birds, that sort of thing.
Awesome, okay. So I would say that unless you guys state otherwise, about an hour or two passes, and out of the corner of your eye, Delman, just because you're up a little bit higher, you notice somebody who looks very much like the foreman that you dealt with the other day at the mine, just walking towards the front of the keep. He isn't really looking over towards your direction, but as he approaches the gate, the guards don't move to stop him in any way, and he just walks past.
He doesn't notice the half-orc attacking trading dummies outside?
Yeah, not a lot gets his interest. He's pretty blinkered like that.
I'll give it no more than a slight glance.
Okay, so he goes inside.
Didn't
A second.
I'll look up towards Delman and say, isn't he the guy we met? Was it yesterday? The other day? Oh, time blurs. Must have been yesterday, right?
Yes, yeah, it was yesterday.
Oh, I'm asking Delman,
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
not the DM.
Sorry.
Oh, possibly he looked slightly familiar. I lost a lot of time yesterday working on my new way of casting. I do not recall.
I think Arthur went to see him earlier. I guess he found him. With that, I'm going to head inside and see what's going on. Like, head toward the keep.
Okay. I would say in the time that you've been talking, you kind of round the corner into the keep just as you see the foreman walk out with Governor Nighthill. They kind of seem to be walking and talking. Do you approach them?
Just watching them but keeping my distance. Not getting too close.
Okay. So if you're keeping your distance, I'd say that you're close enough to hear what they're saying. So you just hear Governor Nighthill say, Are you sure, Marcus, he still stole from you? I mean, obviously not the same ilk as Brendan, but Joel's not a child, Marcus. I know that you sympathize with his situation, but in the name of the friendship that I had with Mr. Raymer, I can arrange to have him sent to a different prison, I suppose. But that's about as much as I can do. He's still a criminal, and he must answer for his crimes. Yes, I understand, Governor. I don't want him to be left off with what he did, but we both know what Castilian can be like. It isn't a fate that he deserves.
I'll walk over towards them. Are you talking about Joe?
Yeah. The governor will turn to you and goes, "Ah, yes. Gwen, I'm surprised you know who Joel is. I suppose you may have met him when you went to the mine."
Well, we met him after. He came in with us last night.
Ah, yes,
I will
of course.
say this for him. he did help us in finding what was going on. He did help us find out the truth about what is happening at the mine, or what was happening at the mine. He did lead us to Brandon in the end, so he was helpful.
Okay. Governor Nighthill takes his hand and he scratches his chin for a few moments, considering what you said, and he will kind of just, looking at both you and Marcus, he will say, I appreciate you bringing this information to light, Gwen. I understand Marcus told me much the same thing. He was very helpful. He had quite a long conversation with Arthur, I understand. It seems that you took quite a liking to him. But, as I said, we can be lenient with Joel. This is his first offense, but there will have to be repercussions.
You might say, in a way, was he really stealing though? He was taking things from Brandon for Brandon.
Okay.
Is it theft?
I would actually say roll persuasion at this point, Gwen.
Fuck.
Sorry. Just because you're making an argument, and I'd say actually I'm going to give you advantage. Be nice.
Definitely needs it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say on a 13, I'm going to say that Governor Nighthill, he opens his mouth to rebuke you, but just thinks for a few moments and says, you make a fair point, Gwen. I hadn't really thought of it from that perspective. I suppose with everything that's happened recently, we're still in quite a accusatory mindset. We just dealt with...
A lot has been going on.
Yes.
These few days.
You'll need to be
But
kept in
it's not him. I do believe he needs some punishment, but he's not one of the ones trying to harm us. There are those that really do want harm. Those are the ones we need to be angry with.
I think probably the fairest thing to do is to, at the very least, I'll have to report the crime to the Lanatum. But other than that, they're more experienced in handling these sorts of situations. I tend to just keep ragtag ruffians in my dungeons, but something like this is frankly not in my skill sets. They're more... How should I put this? They're more people persons, shall we say.
I will turn to Marcus. Maybe there's something you can do for his sister.
Okay, as you look upon Marcus and you mention the guy's sister, and goes, you're right. I wanted to help sooner, but Brendan just... that fuckwit.
It sounded like she's in a bad way. Maybe
I'll take care
I
of it.
can meet her?
No, the least I can do to help Joel's family. I can't condone what he did, but I have, with Brendan signing over the shop and his assets, rest assured I will take care of it. I give you my word.
Maybe there's something I can help her with.
And
If
what
you
would
want to introduce it.
um
It sounded like she was not in the best of health.
upon saying that, I would actually say that Nighthill chimes in again and says, actually, yes, maybe Gwen and Sasha can have a look at her.
I'm not sure Miss Holloway is in a mind to be interrupted right now, but once she is,
Oh, I thought Sasha saw all of their patients. Is she occupied with something else?
she was doing some research. We tried a little experiment
Ah,
earlier.
I
believe
see.
She was taking notes.
yeah, this has happened before. You're not going to be able to get a word out of her for probably at least a day.
Maybe by nighttime. Maybe she comes out and we can go
I
together.
wouldn't be so sure. I mean, you can by all means try later, but when Sasha gets her teeth into something, there's very little any of us can do to deter her.
There's that. I do understand where she's coming from. It is a tempting thing to do.
But yes, Marcus, maybe. I mean, I don't even think Joel hasn't even been home yet. Marcus, you probably need to go and tell Jane what happened. Yeah, I suppose I do. Well, it was, yeah, I'm just gonna go. I appreciate your offer. I'll probably be back in about a day. She's probably not going to be in the frame of mind to even talk to me. Joel was her entire life. They were very rarely apart. Anyway, I best be going. And with that, Marcus
Let me
turns to
know.
Yeah.
Let me know tomorrow.
As you say that, Marcus will turn around and nod, and then he'll continue walking away. I would say that, Delamain, if you're still out there on the tree, you'll see Marcus leave. Just because you were kind of probably looking towards that direction because Gwen went there. Are you still hitting your training dummy, Zach?
Answers that.
Yeah. Oof.
Okay, so Zach, as you swing your great axe into one of the dummies, like one of the heads just flies off, and it goes in the direction of Delamain. Delamain, make a dex check.
Why?
Because
Oh,
You'll find out. Okay, so Delamain, unfortunately for you, Zach was a little bit overzealous with his training. He knocks the head off one of the dummies, and it just comes flying towards you, and it hits you in the forehead.
so I'm busy looking down at
Yeah.
at notes. I don't notice it.
Yeah, and it just like conks you on the head. It does 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ah!
Zog, sorry.
Do I stay in the tree?
Yeah, I'm going to say that you stay in the tree. I'm not going to be that mean. if you got that one, I might have been tempted.
Do I see what hit me? Like, do
I would say that the trajectory of the head, yeah, you'd have a good idea. Like, you see Zark stood next to the dummy looking guilty, and the dummy doesn't have a head, and you were just hit by the dummy's head. So you probably can figure it out pretty quickly.
Zog, not no own strength.
Watch it, you oaf! Just when I was starting to have a modicum of respect for you and your found magical talents. In a bit of anger, I want to cast Ray of Frost at the training dummy to distract it.
Okay. That's normally a con save, isn't it?
No, I swapped out that cantrip. This one's an attack.
Okay, I suppose roll to attack to see if you actually hit the training dummy.
Fucking yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
so
an angry boy.
you get really annoyed, probably disproportionately annoyed with the situation. You hold out your hand for the Ray of Frost, and you feel that it surges a lot more strongly than normal, and like it's almost like the training dummy next to Zach just explodes in just a shower of frost. And you actually are taken a little bit back by your own strength there, Delamain. And Zark, I would say, flinches a little bit just because it was dangerously close to hitting him.
Zog was using that. I'd like to rage and attack. Move on to the next dummy.
You don't have a range, you use both.
I have 3 rages now, so.
Oh, okay, you use your last range then.
Yeah.
Burning them all.
Or your D8.
A 7. What is a 7? Flowers and vines grow around me until my rage ends.
Okay, so
And
you
within
just
me is difficult terrain.
So you just get angry, you hit the training dummy, and then you just kind of start seeing vines and other manner of plant life. You kind of like try to shake your feet to get the plant life away, but it just follows you wherever you go.
It's like, fine, lady, so do it again. I'll shout in the direction of the keep, no idea if she can hear me.
You don't get a response this time.
Oh.
Can I not hear him?
Oh no, you can, Gwen. I thought you was referring to.
I'm in the courtyard.
Yeah, I would say that it's not so much that couldn't
You
hear
told
him.
me that before, so
Yeah. So yeah,
I
suppose
hear
it's-
him shouting something like that. I'll go outside and look.
Okay, so Gwen, you run back out to see that Delman has now got a lump on his head. There seems to be a destroyed training dummy covered in powdered ice, and there are flowers growing at Zark's feet.
And vines, don't forget the vines.
And vines, yes.
Interesting.
He destroyed Zork's dummy.
When I got like angry and fired off the spell, you'll see I'm sort of standing on the tree holding the trunk with my other hand, and there's quite a large icy crater in the tree now where my other hand was, and I'll look very worried at that. Try and hide it.
Okay.
Delman?
Yes. What is it?
Wanna tell me what happened here?
The oaf was overzealous, and he hit me. So I took away his toy.
You remember who his toy belongs to?
It is a mere straw dummy. They can make more. They're made to be destroyed. It's fine.
You might still want to say sorry to the soldiers.
Zork wanted
Yeah.
to destroy.
Yeah, look. I'll cast minor illusion where the training dummy was and make it look like there's a new one. Yeah, see?
Can I swing at the illusion?
If you want to.
27.
Well, you see, the thing is, Zach, it's an illusion. So what is going to happen? I'm going to say what's going to happen here is you bound forward towards the training dummy, you swing, but the momentum of your roll sends you flying forward, but you somehow manage to launch yourself on your hands and do a flip, and manage to sort of catch yourself before falling over. It's really impressive, actually.
Impressive.
Yeah. If that was anything lower, you would have just fallen on your face, but because it was a nat at, you think of something.
Oh, I'm just like,
Yes, Delman. Zark,
See, it
try the other one.
It's good for a laugh.
just like squat in front of the dummy and try and touch it. So,
Okay.
oh.
I'm going to...
As soon as you connect with the minor illusion, it disappears.
Yeah, it
Like,
literally
you,
just
like,
fades
ah,
from
Take
existence.
physical contact with it, so it's not there anymore.
Oh, it would have already disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Is there anything else you three guys want to do right now, in particular?
I'll go attack one of the remaining dummies.
I'll
I'm going to very closely
immediately
watch
go
Zark
back.
and see how the vines and flowers develop.
Do
How
it.
long those stay, how long they happen.
Okay.
If there's any particular kind of flower in it, or if it's a random mix, something like
No.
those kind of things.
Okay. I'm going to say that if you're watching that closely, you observe that it's just a random mix of flowers and vines. There doesn't really appear to be any consistency to it, and it stops happening after roughly a minute. Which also coincides with, like, you kind of see, as they disappeared, that you see Zark's body language relax a little bit.
Hmm?
But nothing else seems to happen with Zark. He is just good old regular Zark, hitting training dummies into oblivion.
Stupid little man. Straight socks. Toy.
Okay.
I'm swinging each time I say a word of that.
Sometime around midday, I'm gonna go look for food.
Okay. Okay.
We'll take some to Zark and Delman as well if they're still out.
So are you?
I'm
sorry.
not there. I climbed down the tree and sort of wandered off back into the house.
Okay. So are you doing anything in the house, Delman?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to hide a little. I'm gonna start busting out notebooks and trying to research on the Cult of the Dragon. See if there's anything I know about them.
Okay, I would say that there are these just the research notes that you've got, or were you looking for these notes?
I don't really have anything, but I'm using the feature of my background. I can't really ping it, but it says when you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. So I'm just looking if I have anything on them. But
Okay.
if not, I may go and try and find out where
Alright.
I can find something about it.
Oh.
All right. I would
That's
say
spot
that.
on.
I'd say I'm going to ask you to make an intelligence check to see just how well you can piece things together with your past information. Okay. On a 13, I would say that throughout the last couple of years that you've been traveling, you managed to combine that information with the stuff that you already know, and it's very much a case of the Cult of the Dragon have been very active in the north of Faerun, not really so much in the south. You know about... You don't really know the specifics of their quest, you just know that they've been amassing a lot of wealth. You don't really know where specifically in the north that they've attacked. You've managed to stay somewhat clear of them. It seems that, though, based on what you've seen in Greenest and your notes just prior to joining the party, they seem to have grown a little bit more bold and are now slowly expanding to the south. In terms of where you would find out more about them, there are probably scholars researching the Cult of the Dragon, considering how much trouble that they've been causing recently. And you remember them mentioning, Nighthill mentioning that there was a scholar hanging about in Greenest just prior to the attack, but he'd appear to have gone missing, and his friend is currently recovering in the back of Sasha's infirmary. She'd seen all of the patients, but he's just kind of being kept away from the others just because he's currently comatose. So
yeah, that was something you told us before, wasn't it?
it is. Yeah.
I've just light bulb remembered that.
Yeah, I'm basically just using your feature to just kind of link those dots for you. So
Cool.
it kind of comes to you that you'll probably be able to talk to this. I don't think you... I'm not sure if his name was mentioned. It might have been. I think it was Nessim.
No.
But yeah. I think it might be... I think Blaine knows about that though. But yeah, because I think he... don't remember if he mentioned that when found him. Anyway, that's what you managed to learn, Delman.
Cool.
Okay, so you go into the keep and you just go and get some food for Zark around lunchtime, Gwen?
Yeah, for myself and Zark, and some extra to potentially take to Arthur and Blaine.
What kind of food?
Some vegetables and bread for you.
Point at the vegetables like, what that?
It's healthy.
That not meat.
This is better for you than meat.
Okay.
Oh.
I think at this point with
Maybe
you...
if
Sorry,
we
go.
start with him, and after that I would walk toward town and look at the forge, see if I can see the guys there.
You want Zark come
I'm,
with?
I'm guessing he went, like, also went there, see if he's there, or whether or not Blaine is there as well.
So, okay.
You want Zark come with?
If you want to. Are you done with practice, Zark? For now?
So could do with Drake.
Alright. Oh, I think you practice a lot today. Maybe let's take these dummies back to the soldiers.
Zach, just to let you know, when all said and done, I'd say that you've got about 4 hours of practice if you stop now.
Okay.
If you just want to mark that down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you unpack the dummies, you return 2 of them to the guards, and the guards just say, didn't we give you a third one? What happened to the third one?
The wizard happened to it. We'll replace it.
The guard just peers over your shoulder and just sees the ice crater where the dummy was, and just raises an eyebrow and just goes,
Wizards.
Yes.
Zark's
Okay.
still got head. I say, pointing to where the head was.
Well, they're not. They're just made out of
Mm.
straw and wood and a couple of other bits and bobs. We'll be able to replace that. I wouldn't want too much. Castilian's destroyed more than his fair share.
I'm sure he has. I'm sure he has. We want to go into town, see if we can find the others. I believe Arthur was
Okay. I would
trying to look for the smithy.
Okay, I would say as you go into town and you go towards the direction of the forge, you can see smoke billowing from the chimney of the shop. So that would imply that something is happening over there. And Brandon isn't there, so you could probably surmise that Arthur might be there. But you'd have
Arthur
to.
or Marcus.
Or Marcus, yeah.
Since I don't know, I'll look to go towards the shop doors, see if they're open.
Okay. Did you close the door when you went in, Arthur?
I closed it, but I didn't lock it.
Okay. So, Gwen and Zach, I think you said, you approach the shop. Do you just knock on the door, or do you try to go in?
I imagine we could hear him working.
But also
Yeah, I'd say that you
listen-
could hear us.
Listen, can we hear? Yeah.
Yeah, you
Quick,
can
quick.
still.
So
Put that over
trying to
quick.
trying to knock.
Put that in water. Go on. Bang, bang, bang.
I would.
There's no reaction. I'm gonna try to open the door carefully.
Okay. You creak the door open, and you see Max the wolf just rolled up on the floor sleeping, and you see Blaine rather enthusiastically actually looking over at what Arthur is doing, and Arthur just seems to be in his element. He's covered in soot, and kind of clanging at things with hammers, putting stuff in water with forceps. Yeah, it looks like if he wasn't an adventurer, this would probably be what you would be doing for a living. He actually looks like he's enjoying himself quite a bit.
You make Zark better arcs? I shout over.
My hammer stops mid-swing. I look up at you. Maybe another day. Swing the hammer down on a piece of metal.
Brought you guys some food. It's past midday now. Thought you might need a little break and some food.
Alright, I quickly just move a few things around, put something back into the forge for it to heat up a bit, and come over.
I
Brush my hands just on my pants, sort of cleaning them.
I just pull out my smith's tools out of my backpack. Like, you want Zark help?
That'd be brilliant. But first, I'm ravished. Thanks. I'll happily accept the food with very greasy hands.
Do you wash your hands before eating, Arthur? Be honest.
You dig in?
Do you wash your hands
did
before
not.
eating?
No.
He did not.
He
After
did
no,
not.
no.
Nope.
Okay,
Arthur's filthy at the moment.
yes, and you're eating with dirty hands. Make a con save as you eat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of feel for a moment that your food's a little bit crunchier than you'd think. It's kind of like there's a little bit of gristle in it, and then you realize, oh right, it's a little bit of like stone you got, and you just sort of like spit it out before you would swallow it. But you know, the meat and the experience of eating just revitalizes you. You feel great.
Why he get meat?
Why, did you not get any meat?
He needs more greens.
But that's
Eat
meat
it.
of the land.
Meat is
Oh,
good for you.
suck like this guy.
So yeah, so beside me, I'll essentially have what seems to be a load of random bits of plates of metal that I've basically hammered out and, well, forged as much as I can.
Since it looks like a mess, I have
Basically,
no
yes.
focus there, but seeing the mess.
Yeah, you never specified that you cleaned up Brendan's workspace. You just sat down and started working in it. So, yeah, it still looks. Yeah, it looks like a bulldozer came through this place, wherever one of those are.
You're gonna be here a little longer, I take it?
I'm going to be here for a while, yeah. I got quite a bit of work ahead of me.
Sark,
Hey.
do you want to stay?
Suck help.
Lane?
Alright, excellent.
Lane,
I'm not
you
really
feel
o-
like you?
I'm
Are
not
you
really much of a help. Let's just go back to the. Go with you.
I was thinking of going outside a bit. Let's see, take a walk in the woods a little.
Yeah.
Might be nice for Max to come along.
Alright, Doc.
As you
How good are
mentioned,
you at?
the woods, Max perks up and just starts barking happily towards the direction of Gwen.
Walkies!
Good boy.
Sorry, I interrupted.
How's Doc? How good are you at hitting metal?
So good at hitting things.
Excellent. Come on. I slap him on the shoulder to get to work.
I guess we'll
this.
leave you to it.
Where are you in the world of Arrow?
Yeah.
Alright, anyway.
Suck like hitting things. Suck have fun.
Like, just imagine like Zyke has a tiny little
Yeah.
hammer between his pinky and his thumb, and he's just sort of like going tink, 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 tink as you sort of like work away out.
Doesn't care what he's hitting or how he's hitting it as long as he's hitting something.
I mean, it's decent help, Arthur.
Mhm.
Got someone keeping you. He's there for moral support, if nothing else. Okay.
Okay.
So, Arthur and Zach are going to stay there. So, Gwen and Blaine, are you going to kind of go to the outskirts of Greenest for a walk?
Yeah, that was my plan.
Okay.
Find a way to the outskirts, and I believe there were some woods and some fields, so walking around in those. And I'd like to look for a few things.
Okay, cool. Are you doing anything other than reading in the meantime, Dalman?
No, I'm just throwing myself deep into research.
Okay, so you're still reading up. Okay, so in that case, we'll go with Gwen and Blaine. So, what do you guys do first?
Lane?
I'm just gonna do some hunting, rabbits.
Okie doke. So, you head out into the wilderness with Gwen. So you said you're going to hunt some rabbits?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just see what check that will be for hunting, just because this isn't something we've actually really done before. What are you doing in the meantime, Gwen? Are you just watching Blaine do this?
I'm looking for a few things. first oak trees. Second yew tree.
Okay.
Yeah, oak trees, yew trees.
Mhm.
Then some feathers. Just any kind of bird feather that's just lying on the ground. Drop feathers. Also looking for mistletoe. Yeah, let's go with those four for now.
Okay. So what we'll do is, Gwen, to find those items, I think. Let me just see what role would be best first. I'm probably gonna say, because you're for the mistletoe, and what else did you say you wanted to find, like mistletoe and feathers?
Mistletoe, oak tree, yew tree, and feathers. Feathers, just see if I find any lying around. If we're not in the woods, like if we're in the woods, I'm looking for the two tribes.
Okay, I would
Oak
say.
tree, but if we're walking around along a field or something like that, there I'd look for feathers.
Okay, so for oak and yew tree, roll investigation. See if you spot any in the general vicinity. Okay, I'm going to say that you don't spot any yew trees, but you do spot a few oak trees dotted about.
In that case, I would like to try to harvest a little bark.
Okay, so for harvesting bark, do you have anything sharp to harvest the bark with?
I have an herb knife.
Okay. So in that case, could you roll survival for me, please? Okay. On a 17, I would say that you get, how much bark are you trying to get?
A handful or two.
I mean, I'd say
Just taking little snippets, not taking a whole big batch at one point.
I would
Just
say
taking little snips, little snip.
with that roll, I would say you get whatever you need from the bark trees, like whether that be like little scraps here and there. I'd probably say that you could like take yeah, you take
About
it just
two handfuls of.
yeah. I'd
just
say you get
scrap.
that. Okay. I'm also going to say then roll survival to see whether you find any feathers. Okay. You look around on the ground, but unfortunately, there doesn't really seem to be many birds currently in this area or any nests on the trees, so it might just be that there aren't many birds to drop feathers in this part of the forest, unfortunately. And
Another time.
and were you looking for mistletoe as well?
Yes.
Okay. And just one more roll then, please, on survival.
Is it survival or investigation?
Anything for like foraging and getting stuff. I'm just doing a survival.
I'm just looking if it's.
Oh.
I said I need to investigate if it's there, and then survival if I can harvest.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong.
we'll do it that way. So yeah, just investigate to see if there's any around. Not in this area,
I'm not
unfortunately.
seeing anything yet.
Nah.
It's the same modifier on both. I was just.
Yeah, you were
wondering.
just trying to
This
get.
was technical question from me.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. Okay, so Blaine, you say that you're hunting rabbits.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so Blaine, roll survival to see if you can see any rabbit tracks in the area. Okay, you managed to find some rabbit tracks pretty much straight away. I would also say that because you rolled so high, you managed to catch sight of them currently very near to you. So, what are you going to do to try and actually take them down? Gonna be using your bow?
Yes.
Okay, I would say that with the roll, they are in range for you to try and hit them if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would say at this point to roll to hit the rabbit. There's a collection of 3 of them right now, but I would imagine once you try to hit one, the rest will scatter. Okay, so with a 22, you definitely connect, and roll your damage, please. Okay, yeah. On 11 damage, the arrow flies from your bow and it just goes through the midsection of the rabbit and it's struck dead on the spot.
Nice shot.
The other two rabbits predictably scatter away from the third. And yep, you hunted a rabbit.
Nice. I'll just walk up to it and pick it up.
Okay, cool. So you have a rabbit now. Congratulations.
Yay.
Okay. Do you guys do anything
Minch.
else in the forest, or?
See that Max is walked enough for the day.
Yeah, Mac.
Also, just getting a lay of the land, trying to remember, like, if there's any trees or anything that stands out, which direction it is,
Yeah.
how far from town, things like that.
I'd say that you went about
Outfit.
10 minutes from town to the east to get to this place.
Do a little more walking.
Okay.
Like 10 minutes walk is a little short. Honestly. I don't know.
I'd say
After
that.
a couple hours.
So you're going to walk around for a couple of hours.
Yeah, up to that. I don't know. Blaine, you up to that much walking or?
Yeah,
Getting
sure.
used to it? Yeah. I'll say
Like
that.
to know. I like to learn the land a bit more.
Also, like, trying maybe to do a rough white circle around town. Like, not walking directly away from town, but kind of.
You kind of like you're going around the perimeter of town.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Are you looking
Not
for?
a strict one, but rough.
Are you looking for anything in particular as you walk around, or are you just walking for the sake of exercise?
Walking for the sake of exercising and also just seeing if there's any landmarks. Anything that sticks out, anything. Like,
Yeah, I do the same.
something that would make me, if I'm there again, if I come up on greenness, not knowing I'm coming up on greenness, but something that I would recognize again.
Okay. For looking for landmarks, give me an investigation roll with advantage because I will say that both you and Blaine are looking. Okay. Oh yeah, I was just about to say I saw the nats and I just thought, well, no, with advantage you got an 18. Right. Okay. So you walk around Green Nest on the perimeter and you come across like a patch of land where there isn't really that many trees. There's like just one half broken tree in the middle. It looks like it's one that they tried to hack down some time past, but it's kind of like just sat there alone, set apart from all of the others. So I'd say that if you were coming back to Greenest, this is something that would probably stick in your memory. I would say that this is kind of towards the north of the town. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything else after coming across this landmark, or are you eventually going to finish your walk and head back to the town?
We'll walk around it a little, look at it,
Yeah.
possibly take the time to make a quick sketch of it.
I'd say that as you make a quick sketch of it, as you're sketching it, Gwen, a few bluebells fly down from nearby, because bear in mind you are in a different part of Greener Sound. They kind of just like rest on top of this half broken tree. And they just twitter there for a little bit, and like depending on whether you want to sketch them or not, they move away after roughly 10 minutes.
Actually, before that, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what do you say to them? So yeah, you can like convey some things. Okay. So
Yeah, simple ideas.
so what do you say to them, Gwen?
I would like to ask them about the place, like the street.
Okay. As you start speaking in what appears to be the native tongue, one of the bluebells just goes, oh, well, we don't really come out here very often. We just kind of float about. But this was a large tree. Yes, very large tree. Probably about I don't know. It kind of
Bigger than that one, and
Yeah.
I'll just point to whatever I see as larger tree on the tree line.
Yeah. As you point to the tree, it gets quite excited. It goes, oh, yes. Much bigger than that.
Has it been like this for long?
It kind of like cocks its head. It doesn't really have much of a concept of time. It just goes, a little bit, a little while ago. I probably
Before the last cold?
what was that? Sorry.
Before the last cold time.
Before the last cold
Before
time.
the last winter.
Yeah.
I'm
I
talking
know what you mean.
The
Okay.
last cold time.
Yes, maybe about 5 cold times ago, or was it 2? I don't remember.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. And with that, the one you're speaking to flies away.
I'll just jot that down. Also try to kind of make a sketch of the bird, as I remember.
Okay. I would say that the bird was there for about 10 minutes if you didn't speak to it immediately, if you wanted to sketch that beforehand.
Oh yeah. In that case, yeah.
Okay.
Totally confused Blaine by now.
So, yeah, so Blaine, literally all you heard during that conversation was just Gwen going, and it's just like, aha.
Right.
You just sort of like think.
Okay.
Max just looks fascinated by the whole thing. He kind of just like walks up to the tree and like scratches at the base of it a couple of times and just runs a few laps around it whilst Gwen is sketching it. Unless you ask him to do something else, Blaine.
No. I'll leave him be.
Okay, and Blaine, is there anything that you would like to do?
No, not really.
Okay, awesome. So, I assume you guys head back eventually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say at this point, all of this, you went walking for a couple of hours, but I'll just say for the sake of time, it's now the evening. Long enough for you, Arthur, to have worked for 8 hours today on your contraption with Zark's assistance. I'll actually say, Arthur...
And planes.
What was that, say?
And planes.
Well, I mean, Blaine, yeah, I'd say that this was a team effort. Arthur, I'm going to say that with the help of both, I'd say more Zark than Blaine because Blaine was just observing you. I'd say
Yep,
that you've
taking
managed.
notes.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm going to say that you got 12 hours worth of work done, as opposed to 8. But you've done that in 8 hours.
Yeah.
You get the impression that with another good 4 or 6 hours of work, you could probably have this done. You made really good progress today.
Can I tell what
What
he's
would it have been
making?
when I started it?
What was that side? What time it
What
was?
time would it have been when I started it?
Okay, so you spoke with the foreman at around about 9. I'd say that you maybe started at around 10 o'clock, 1 hour later. You were working on it for about 2 hours when they came with food. And I would say that you've spent until... How many hours did it say? I said 8 hours overall, so a further 6 hours. So yeah, I'd probably say it's 6 o'clock in the evening right now. But you've got a lot more done than you were expecting.
Given that's the case, I would like to stay and continue working.
Yeah, you just kind of like... You wipe your brow, you feel exhausted. You look outside and the light's dimming, but then you look down at your beautiful chrome baby, and you realise you have to get a little bit more bok bok before you can go to bed yourself.
not quite in those words, but yeah.
Can I tell what he's making at this point?
I don't know, Doom. How are you actually constructing this? Are you kind of like leaving it out in segments to see?
Basically, yeah.
Are you
Basically, leaving it in segments, one piece of metal at a time, effectively. So the last part of it is going to be actually connecting it all.
So are you actually assembling this thing, or are you kind of just leaving the components and you're going to like weld it together later? Just to give us an idea of what it looks like.
Basically, at the moment, it looks like it's kind of all the separate parts laid out together on the floor.
Okay, so nothing's assembled.
Nothing's assembled yet. No.
Okay, awesome.
That'll be the last couple of hours.
Would it be evident to anyone looking what the form might be, or is it all kind of just scattered?
It probably won't be obvious. I probably have the legs separate, and
I have been
It's
helping
like a
making it
power
there.
metal.
Okay, yeah, I'm guessing you just say this to Zach, Arthur?
Yes.
That you're going to work on it for a bit longer, so Zach, are you going
Working
to...
a bit longer. You want to call it a day?
You know,
Yeah.
no Zog's help no more.
Your help's been appreciated. But if you want to call it a day, go ahead.
I'll stay anyway.
E.
Yeah, I'll stay anyway. Zog, stay. Zog like hitting metal. It don't break easy.
Alright. In that case, see that piece right there? Go to town on it.
You slap massive grin on my hand as I pick up the
Yeah.
hammer.
Zach, you just sort of like see this massive piece of metal which is kind of bent. Zach sort of like tinks it once and it just goes completely flat. And you just look over and you just think, I knew I was keeping him out for a good reason. I like this guy. Okay, so you just continue to work on into the night. I believe Gwen will be back in a couple of minutes, so Blaine and Delman, what are you doing whilst these two are continuing to work?
I'm still in whatever room we've been assigned.
Okay, so you're just still studying whatever. Okay, so actually, Gwen just came back. Gwen, are you doing anything in particular after returning to the nest?
Did we go to the forge or did we go directly back to?
That's up to you. You didn't specify. Sorry, I just assumed that you went back
Blaine?
to town.
Did you specify anything?
Nope.
In that case, I'd want to go back to the forge, see how they're doing.
Okay, I would say that just considering the day's dragging on, I'd say it's about 6 o'clock now, just for reference, Gwen. So they've been at this now for about 8 hours, or at least 6 hours, because I don't think you know when they got there. So you head back into the forge. Arthur, would you say that the door is open from earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can shut it unless Gwen shuts it.
Okay, so I'd say that if you're with her to Blaine, you both walk back into the shop. Max just barks
This
happily.
looks like worse of a mess than the last time we were here, doesn't it?
So, from your perspective, Gwen, you just see a lot
Looks
of
like it,
disparate components just strewn out on the ground everywhere. Zark is just gleefully hammering pieces of metal straight and giving them to Arthur, who's then kind of just treating it. It's a really efficient production line. You can tell that even though you have no idea what any of this is, they seem to be getting a lot done, but you just have no idea to what end, to your untrained eye.
Gwen, excellent. Here, help me with this, quickly. I start lifting up a large sheet about the size of my forearm.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the first part. Were you talking to me or?
Oh, yeah. Gwen, quick, come, help me just move this.
I'm no Smith. I'll grumble, but walk over and try to help.
How heavy is this piece, by the way? Arthur, is this
It's probably about as heavy as a longsword, maybe.
about as a longsword? Oh, okay, so it's not going to strain it. Okay, so Gwen, you pick up this piece of metal, like, it's a little bit heavier than what you're used to holding, but yeah, you're able to hold it in place for it.
I move it around to part of one of the palaces. I lay it down, just kind of on its side. I stand back and look at it. Ah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
If you say so.
You know, see down there where the tail is? I kind of just follow a pile of rubbish, it seems.
Did you two eat dinner?
Say again.
Did you two have any food since lunch? Or drink?
No, we drunk water. There was a barrel in the back. Dark, do you have any food?
I guess I'll get.
that wasn't
I'll-
water.
I've got rations.
I'll see about fetching you two some food. And
Rebus,
go-
I can
So
cook.
I've got rations in bag.
I'll take some
I
time
just
to
like-
grab it to stew properly.
I just like look around on the shop floor for my bags. Somewhere.
Maybe
It's
we can
underneath
get
the
the stew
forearm.
You know
started.
what, Zach? Roll investigation to see if you can find your bag under all of this rubbish. Because you never specified you cleaned it up, so I'd imagine something might go missing.
18.
Okay, I would say that you have to move a few sections of the tail in order to find it. You kind of like you just
What are you doing?
you
No,
just pick up one piece, you put it down, you pick up another piece, you throw it over the other side of the room, and then you sort of like fumble around with it. You realize you shouldn't move that, you put it back, but eventually you do find your bag, and as you do so, you just sort of like pull a lot of stuff out of place, and you just look over to Arthur. And Arthur, I assume you don't look happy about that.
My eye is twitching.
Stock fix,
didn't
stock
even
fix.
see all that. I went outside to look for the tavern. Or if there was some kind of
Yes, there was a tavern.
vehicle.
Yeah, there's like a tavern here. So, you walk a little bit down the street, Gwen, and you see a building that is titled the Scattered Heart. And from the noise you can hear within, you could probably safely assume that this is a tavern.
I will go inside and try to purchase a meal or meals for 4 people. See if they can give me something to carry them.
Okay, you go into the Scattered Heart and you just see not that many
Leave a
patrons.
takeaway.
Yeah, basically. You see several patrons. They kind of stare at you like as if they're trying to recognize you as you go in, and then but they kind of like shake the heads, and you approach the barkeeper, and they just the barkeeper just says, "Ah, what can I help you with, miss?"
I'm looking for some meals. For 4 people, and one of them does not know what anything edible is beside meat, so gave him vegetables earlier, he might need some meat.
I'm ashamed to say we don't really have much vegetables in stock. I got a couple of carrots, I suppose, knocking about. Would that do?
That's fine. No, for him I need meat this time. Something meaty. Meaty stew, something like that?
Yeah, I've got some pork. I could probably have that. Grind down. Hey, Ronald! Grind down the pork! Okay, boss! Ronald's gonna grind down that pork for you. Just give it a minute.
Yeah, I'll just wait until they have 4 meals ready and take them.
I sense a chill go over my back whilst I'm working away. What is that?
Yeah. Okay, so you wait some time, and how much food did you want? Sorry, Gwen.
4.
4. Okay.
4 adult.
All right. So they're produced on a tray, and the bartender looks around and just, which table is this going to?
They're over at the forge, the other 3.
Ah, right. Okay. Gotta be honest, we don't normally do this. Well, it's going to be 16 copper for the food. I'm going to ask for an extra 4 copper just in case any of this stuff gets broken, just so I can get replacements if need be.
No issue.
I'll give you the
I'll
4
bring-
copper back if you bring it back in one piece.
I'll do my best to do that. And I will hand him 20 copper.
Okay, so minus 20 copper from your character sheet, and you go back out through the door. Again, the patrons, they can't quite place you, but they feel that they know some of your description, but again, they don't really say anything. And with that, do you leave?
Yes.
Okay, so you head back to the forge, and
Yes.
yeah, you head up. Then over to give the food to the guys, presumably.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. So you come back with pork stew.
And I'm sorry, I just noted I didn't have copper, so I handed him 2 silver. Which
That-
would
that-
be
yeah,
the
that's
same.
fine. You'd accept that.
So I'd happily take the food, and assuming we have a spoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it didn't specify, but yeah, you do have spoons. I'm not going to be that.
Eat with your hands.
You just you never asked for spoons. no, you
I
have
asked for the
spoons.
meals, and
I
he was
know.
having them ready to eat at a table in his establishment.
I know. I know. I was just
I'll
going. That's
drink
just
you
me.
up, though.
The only reason I would have done that was to be contrary, but no, there are spoons.
I won't use one anyway. I'll just drink the meal out of the bowl.
I wolf it down, and then I immediately get back to doing some little minor detail work on one of the sheets of metal given to me.
Yeah. You feel very thirsty, Arthur, after eating this pork stew without a drink and being near a furnace for most of the day.
I said there's a barrel of water. Go back to the barrel of water.
Yeah, I'm going to say that there's a barrel of water just next to you, and you just dunk your head in the water.
Probably take the bowl, scoop some out.
Okay, that sounds less interesting, but fine, you can do that. So you just
roll
scoop...
to not drown.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you roll another con save. Yeah, it's clean. It's cleanish water, so you can just drink that down.
You rolled a nat one, you drown in the barrel.
and his life work remained incomplete.
And with that, I immediately get right back to work.
Okay.
And hammer and dink away.
And I assume Zach does likewise. So, Gwen and Blaine, how long do you stay, or do you have anything else you'd like to do here?
Well, as everyone is done eating, I'll take the crockery and cutlery back. Bring that back.
I'll also actually hand over a silver to Gwen to pay for my meal.
Oh, it
Right.
wasn't that much. Don't care. Don't worry. And I'll not accept it.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Yes.
so do you return the crockery, Gwen?
Yes, crockery and cutlery.
And cutlery
Be
as well.
specific.
Yes. Yeah.
And the tablet was on.
So, yeah, you're just making sure that I've got no room to inject shenanigans. Okay, you take all
Basically everything aside from the food.
everything aside from the food. Wait, I expect this food to be regurgitated into the bowl. What is this? No, you take everything back and you hand it over to the guy, and he actually goes, huh, rather impressed nothing got broken. So, sorry, no offense. Usually,
I'm
the-
impressed too, don't worry. I'm impressed too. With the guys, you never know.
yeah, true to his word, the barkeeper gives you 4 copper back. As he does so, he looks quizzically past you and he just goes, huh, seems like you've got yourself an admirer there. Gwen, you turn around and you see one of the patrons, one of the ones who were looking at you from before, and he just simply says, wait a minute. Are you one of the heroes that came into town the other night and helped us deal with the raiders?
Heroes is such a big word.
But you're one of them, right?
Well, I came into town the other night. That is true.
I knew I recognized you from somewhere. Governor, like, he kind of like puts his hands up and addresses the rest. But I told you guys, she's one of the heroes that saved the town. And with that, you just hear the bar raise a glass to you, Gwen, and you start cheering. The man proceeds to put the arm around you and just goes, "Hey, I'll buy you a drink. Hey, I understand there was some more of you. Come on, like bring them here. Let's have a celebration."
I'm very much curling into myself.
Yeah,
Super
oh,
uncomfortable.
Yeah, this guy's a little bit drunk, I should point out.
Yeah, I'll
A
do
little
my
bit.
best to move away. and
So you just,
get out
it's
of
a-
his grasp.
you just kind of like peel him off, like it's like, yeah, I appreciate it, but okay.
Maybe another time, and I'll try to make my way out of there. As quickly
Okay,
as I
fair
can.
enough. So the guy doesn't do anything
Just
else.
about running.
He just goes, she's so modest. And yeah, you make a quick getaway. And as you exit, you just hear the tavern just continue cheering at what appears to be nothing. They just seem really happy.
And I'll forget the guys at the fortune. And I'll just quickly walk away from the place. I'm not even caring where I'm walking. I'm just getting away.
Roll a perception check, actually, if you're leaving there in haste. Okay, as you kind of hurry run away, you kind of look up and you just narrowly avoid hitting a post. You kind of like take a couple of steps back, and then you continue walking. Are you soon back towards the forge?
Well, after I get my bearings again,
Now watch you walk
I'll
back to
circle
the side.
around.
Yeah.
Back to the forge.
Okay, so you just getting really flustered. You take a few minutes to calm down. You almost hit a post, and you just go.
Getting freaked out.
It's just sort of like,
Let's
calm down,
call it what it is.
calm down, Gwen. Just calm down. And then you walk back to the forge.
You didn't do it in a Liverpudlian accent. I'm disappointed.
No.
Because I was talking to myself and I'm not Liverpoolian.
Still,
No, but to be fair, few people are, and that's a good thing here. Yeah, that's not an accent that you want to hear for any length of time, is it, Doom?
Nope.
Anyway, on that note, you return to the forge. Looking a little bit, you look a little bit dishevelled, as if like not distressed, just a little bit flustered.
And I'm seeking out Max.
Okay,
If he's still there,
oh yeah, Max
just check.
Max basically goes where the Blaine goes, and once again he's just kind of curled up on the floor. As you enter, Gwen, he just runs up to you and just kind of like, puts his paws up your lap, just basically greeting you.
I'll pass him.
Yeah, so you kind of like pat him a little bit, and he shakes his head, backs happily, and then after a few moments returns to his previous resting position.
Are there any chairs?
Yeah, there's a couple of chairs where people can sit down. I think Arthur, there's a couple behind Brandon's desk. There's also a couple in the office, so I'd say there's a seat for both you, Blaine, and yourself.
Blaine, are you sitting down somewhere?
Yeah, sitting behind the desk.
Alright, so you move the chair there then. So yeah, there's a chair for each of you.
Oh well, in that case, I'm moving one close to where Max is.
Okay, so yeah, Max just occasionally cocks his head up, just kind of nudging you to pat him.
You're good as well.
Yeah.
But kind of semi-absent-minded, so I'll probably forget to keep petting him.
Yeah, every now and again you just hear a sad whimper, sort of coming from down there, but otherwise, he's perfectly happy. Okay, so do you guys do anything whilst Zark and Arthur continue to work?
I'm still taking notes. What Arthur and Zach are doing.
Okay, so you continue making notes. So Arthur, I would say that if you want to skip ahead, you spend another 4 hours. So I'm going to say at this point, it's. Oh, sorry, go on.
I'd like to do something like after maybe half an hour to an hour.
Yeah, okay. What do you
Fully
want to do?
calmed. I'd like to go into the office
Okay.
and look around there. What kind of documents I can find, what kind of mess there is.
Yeah, you kind of have to really nudge past Arthur and Zark, because it's with either Zark and Blaine behind the desk, it's pretty cramped, so you kind of have to just awkwardly nudge past them, but you manage to get so, and yeah, Brendan's document keeping isn't really much better than his
Like,
isn't much better than his shop. It's pretty darn messy. Are you looking for anything in particular?
I'm looking for anything that might link to the dragon cult.
Okay.
Like any amount, like if he wrote down any amounts of stuff given to them. Basically anything that's a connection.
Yeah, and basically anything that could be used as evidence against him. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to say
Yeah, as evidence against him, but also information from
just
him.
information.
Even if it's just something about the cult, even if it's not something his involvement, but something he wrote down, names he wrote down.
Yep, given his
like
known
that.
association and you specifying what you're looking for, roll investigation with advantage. Okay, so on an 18, it takes you quite a while to sort through all of this stuff. Like, every time you start to get your concentration, you just hear Zag go clang. You kind of, like, look towards him annoyed, and then you start focusing, and you just hear another clang. And eventually, your mind tunes this out, and you manage to methodically sort through the papers, and a couple of documents do catch your eye as you look through everything. So,
I'll put those aside.
yeah, so
Like make a special pile and
Yeah.
put those aside.
okay, so you managed to get this stuff aside. There's just a couple of like sheets in which Brendan has made. He wasn't very discreet with his own document keeping. There's like quite very obvious discrepancies, like inventories, for example, of like where he had a lot of goods in stock, but then like when he was kind of like reporting it down in his ledger, there were very obvious differences, and then there was like another book off to the side where he's actually documented all of the instances and dates in which he's kind of put the materials aside for himself, and he actually flagged it as to be paid to the cult. He was not a very smart man. He never
No.
anticipated that anyone would cotton on to his operation here. So with the ledger and that, yeah, you find, there's probably more than enough here to build a case against him. In addition to that, on an 18, I'd say that you find a note written kind of like vaguely to Brendan that just appears to be threatening him after. So it says something along the lines of, "Now we've done a favour for you, I expect you to hold up your end of the bargain, and that you will leave us undisturbed at the mill whilst we use your former master's work to achieve our own ends. And if you object, then we have plenty to say about you." And it's not signed by anyone, but that's all it says.
I would like to bundle all those notes together.
Yep, awesome. So, yeah, you probably spend, I would say, you spend about half an hour doing this just because it is literally that much of a diabolical mess, that and tuning out Zark's inane clattering. So,
It's that much of a mess. I'm guessing it's taking me more like an hour.
you've pretty much
I'm
had to
really
tidy, you've pretty much had to tidy the room in order to get this information just because it was that disheveled.
All right, it's taking me 2 hours.
Fair enough. Just because you want to, you kind of like, you just get the information, you go, no, not gonna do it, Gwen, not gonna do it. It's unclean! I need to clean it. It's just so messy.
Well, I'm not cleaning. I'm just tidying.
Just tidying, I'm just tidying.
Sorting those.
Yeah, you just, so you spend, you spend
Sorting
2
them.
hours doing an absolutely fantastic job of cleaning up this nitwit's mess. And I would say in that time, Zark and Arthur, you've made some pretty good headway. You feel that maybe with another hour's work, you can... Well, I mean, you in particular, Arthur, because you're the one actually making this thing. You could probably have the rest of it done, and you could get to assembly.
Forge ahead. As
Okay.
Pun
well.
intended.
Okay, so you continue. So, just because we haven't checked in with you, so Delman, are you doing anything else, seeing that the others haven't come back? Yeah, or have you just been reading all of this time?
Nope, I'm just mired in my own research.
Okay, awesome. So you were looking at stuff with the Core of the Dragon. Were you trying to investigate anything else? Because I'd say that maybe after about 4 hours of study, you kind of came to the conclusions I mentioned earlier. Do you just kind of keep rereading over the same notes to see if you can extract any new information, or do you move on to a different topic?
I'll go over any notes I have from about dragons.
Just about dragons. Is this pertaining to any subject in particular? Or like anything about dragons in particular? Or just kind of like let's say for example cross-referencing with what you saw when the blue dragon attacked?
Yeah, I'm just looking through everything I have.
Okay, so I would probably say roll an intelligence check for me again. Okay, on an 11, I'm going to say that at this point you're starting to get pretty fatigued because you've been reading non-stop without a break, and you just kind of think of dragons, yes, toothy, scaly, scary things. Ah, dragons. And that's about as far as you get. Maybe try another day when your head's a little bit straighter.
I'll sort of toss the book aside and just stare at the scales on my own.
Okay, I would say that at this point you hear a knock on the door. Delman, do you answer it?
Who is it?